Alright, so at the start I'm just showing you my gear, 883.5. My relics are for bad traits. I don't have the new golden trait or even the one before that, which would help a lot.
I can't attack that.
I don't have set pieces. And I went for crit verse gear. Crit verse lets you do a lot more damage. And I also just have better crit verse gear. I do have the legendary shoulders, but I didn't feel like that their effect would be very helpful at this stage, because you're not really channeling Soothing Mist very much. You're either doing damage, you're casting. So I went for the belt to do a little more damage, and that just happened to be a setup that gets me more raw stats as far as like maximizing the eye level that I can equip and stuff. So anyway, on the second wave, I mean these early waves are all pretty simple, but on the second cast that the mage does, you can use leg sweep. That way you can leg sweep both him and the archer before the archer teleports somewhere to cast Mana Sting. You saw that I actually got hit by a Mana Sting. This is not something that should normally happen. The risk there, or the way that you expose yourself to risk there, is by being slow to react to their Mana Sting cast. So if you do not cast Paralysis as soon as possible, then you risk not having it off cooldown for subsequent Mana Stings. If you do get hit by a Mana Sting, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to play a little differently and try to conserve mana. So here a lot of people would leg sweep that knife dance, but I think it's better to use paralysis on that one and then leg sweep when the soldier does his next cast, which usually will be a fixate. There was a knife dance, it doesn't really make a difference. But I find that pattern to be just a little bit easier. At this level of gear, it's actually can sometimes be a little bit difficult to actually just keep everyone topped off and to have all your cooldowns and your transcendence set up and just everything set up smooth for each next pack. So every little bit helps for having it perfect. So I've got that transcendence set up there in front of the next pack, and then you want this guy to die next to the next pack so that your allies can start attacking that next pack ASAP. And this is where I use drums. You want to do a little damage on the mage, use your chi burst, and then right as knife dances, which will always be cast first, are about to finish, you can use your leg sweep. And then here I use my engineering belt to interrupt the one knife dance, and then I use the transcendence I have set up to deal with the fixate. It's easiest if they both fixate you. That's what I think happens most often. If they both fixate you, then I mean, you don't have to do any extra work. If one's fixating you, you're running away or whatever. If they both fixate you, you're running away equal amount. One fixates you and one knife dances. That's pretty annoying. And then plus they get all out of sync like this. So this is actually one of the more difficult patterns you can get. But you can either just, learn how to deal with the randomness, or you can keep doing attempts until you get the easy pattern, which in my opinion is that they both fixate after they do the initial knife dance. So by using drums there, you can save your big cooldowns for this last pack, your big healing cooldowns, and it makes the last pack pretty easy. Again, you want to finish, if you can, next to the pack. And then you do this same pattern with getting a Rising Sun kick and Blackout kick and a leg sweep and a chi burst. Important thing here is that you use paralysis ASAP on the archer. the soldier did a knife dance, or yeah, a second knife dance, and so I used the engineering belt on him. Usually he'll fixate. It doesn't really make a difference, but after you use Transcendence, then you'll be next to the mage and you can use Arcane Torrent to reset his damage and make things a little bit easier. But other than that, you know, it's just managing cooldowns. I basically save my artifact ability to just be, I just let it get a bunch of stacks and let it just be a huge heal. I never had to use Fortifying Brew in this one. And yeah, like if you, I would highly recommend that you record yourself if you can, so that you can watch the last like 20 seconds before you die, because I thought I was playing smart and doing everything pretty smart, but then I really improved my scripts and decision trees and just optimizing everything a lot by looking over my mistakes, because when you make, basically when things get chaotic and you're in a situation where you're going to make mistakes, that's not a place where you're going to be able to review what happened mentally, because you're missing things and that's why you're messing up and you're going to die. So you have to watch the recorded footage to actually take stock of all your options. So even in the worst patterns that I could get and the worst luck, like, because the damage is pretty random too, you know, sometimes they'll crit, sometimes they'll miss, that kind of thing. But even in the worst case scenarios, it was really rare that I thought that it was hopeless. It usually seemed like if I had used some global cooldowns better or positioned better, that I could have actually survived. So important to review, and that's how you'll learn a lot. So funny story about this room is that it took me forever to get through phase 1. Phase 1's really hard. I heard phase 1 was the hardest, so once I got through it I was really excited, but I wanted to be like careful and stuff and make sure I finished it and, you know, completed the challenge. And I died to the very first eye. I was not expecting a huge explosion when it died. I hadn't cheated and like looked at the mechanics or whatever, so I got through phase 1 after like 15 or 20 attempts or something, and I proceeded to just die to the first eye. Yeah, but really phase 1 and then the last boss is the only hard part. This whole middle part, you know, once you know the mechanics, it's pretty easy. Here you have a lot of stacks on your artifact, so you can life cocoon 1, enveloping this plus artifact another, and then heal up the third one the old-fashioned way. Is there anything else I want to say about phase 1? Don't think so. Oh, if you're hearing weird noises, you might recognize it's the sound of the Reaver from StarCraft Brood War. Anyway, that's my indication that my Rising Sun kick reset from Blackout kick. And if it's not about to reset, sometimes you'll see like a faded out, like right there, you'll see a faded out icon for Rising Sun kick appear, and then that way I know that it's about to come back. And then that way I can do my damage rotation without messing up any global cooldown. Yeah, so phase 1. It's hard, but it's doable. I guess I'll just start talking about healing, what's going to happen in the healing part. So you need to heal up 8 of the souls, and whichever soul doesn't get healed up in time is going to be an enemy that you have to kill before you kill the boss. And the souls come in waves of 3, so what you want to do is, in one of the first 2 waves, well, you can go about it in different ways. I don't know what really the most optimal way is, but basically you want to let one soul through in one of the waves, and then you need to heal 3 souls in 2 of the other waves.
You made it.
And the way I decided to do it, and I got to this point a bunch of times, and I can tell you it's so much easier if you have a script. Don't waste your attempts by just trying to wing this. You need to have a script of how you're going to do this. But I use Life Cocoon on the very first one, and then I think what I do, I'm trying to remember what I do in this video, but as I just say, it's important to have a script.
I cannot allow you.
Basically, you can use Life Cocoon, and then you can use your T to instant cast 2 Enveloping Mists, and then you can spam Vivifies, and that should get you 3 souls, and that shouldn't be too hard. And I also have Chi G up to help with the souls a little bit, and to help with healing my allies. Precasting Renewing Mist here is a nice little bonus. You may as well do it. Pop your potion as soon as you see the stage 5 thing pop up. That'll be a good pre-pot timing. So yeah, there are first 3 souls, Life Cocoon, and then use your T for 2 instant cast Enveloping Mists, and then spam Vivify. The next one, I think that's when I let 1 through, and I'll do, you need to cast Enveloping Mist on 2 of them, and then spam Vivify. And then on the 3rd one is when you can use Revival, and your artifact will have a decent number of stacks. And I'm pretty sure in this attempt I actually forget to use my artifact ability, and on the very last cast, which I use a Vivify, I think it crits and I got lucky. But I really should have used my artifact for more single target healing. So anyway, here you can see I'm not even trying with that 3rd one. It's gotten some healing, but I didn't cast Enveloping Mist on it. The other important thing to know is that you can't, see how I tried to cast a few times right there and I couldn't? You can't actually cast on them until they're like past the steps. And if you waste too much time trying to cast, here's the Vivify that crits. And I should have used my artifact.
A dark force reaching into my mind.
If you waste too much time trying to cast on them before you can cast, that's how your allies are gonna die. So don't let that happen. Also, you can optimize this further by like using a little more haste mastery gear, I guess. So that your Vivify spam is a little more powerful, if you can afford the mana. So here you just let 1 soul through. It should be pretty easy peasy. I should also say that the damage that your allies do to each other is pretty random, and you can get unlucky and they just really hurt each other, and you have to do way more healing on them, and it's really tough. So the first time I got to this point, I didn't know the mechanics, and I failed spectacularly. Again, I'm assuming you probably know the mechanics if you're watching this video. But basically, when you get the debuff, when the debuff expires, however much health you have is how much damage will be done to your allies. And the boss is actually not doing that much auto attack damage to your allies. It's mainly about you trying to keep your health low so your allies don't take too much damage, and then obviously you can't die. When he jumps on you and you take ticks of the green stuff, you take a lot of damage, so it's tricky. Oh yeah, and I use drums pretty late there, but whatever. You can use drums here. So if I would have just used Chi Torpedo right there, and I actually like hit it a second too late, then this would have been a successful attempt. But the truth is, I actually never successfully did this. But I wanted to just publish this video anyway because obviously it's very possible for someone in my gear to do this. You might have to spend a little more time on your attempts. But I was a few more correct global cooldowns away from succeeding. So anyway, good luck.
Jared,
And have fun with this challenge. I found it really fun myself.
reinforcements arrive.